US has done this to us
We are
earlier.
live.
Yeah. Oh, we are live. Okay.
Yeah.
So hello everybody.
Hello.
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 We are trying to ask the question: is India ready to pay the cost to what Trump is doing? And answer is, I think yes.
The answer is, I mean, one, that there are some red lines which can't be crossed no matter what the cost
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah.
Simple. So, um, I'm guessing that because if I see, I was just thinking about it, and I was looking at the other nations which have got stiff tariffs, right? In Brazil's case, for example,
Brazil is the only country which has 50%, right?
so the 50% tariff with Brazil, and by the way, the headline is that, oh, Brazilian real is still up and the markets are up 11%. But from the time July 9th, se leke, if you see from the time they imposed the tariffs, the Brazilian real has underperformed the S&P 500 by 3.5%, and the markets, Bovespa. So those markets also have had an impact, but 3%. So so coming back to the topic, even there, the 50% tariff is for completely absurd, non-economic reasons.
Yes.
It is something that's happened internally in Brazil. Sure, you may take objection to that and blah, blah, etc. Right?
That interference in the internal politics of Brazil, basically.
Right.
And,
Similarly
and,
here,
and being part of BRICS.
Yeah. Similarly here, right? There is no economic rationale for it to say, oh, trade surplus or etc. is the reason why 25 and plus 25 is 50%. Right?
This is not a fair trade which is happening, right?
It is
in
not.
that sense. Means if the question is that, okay, I am going to impose a tariff on anyone who's going to buy from Russia, then you need to start charging the European Union, you have to charge the Chinese, and
You
then
can't
India.
do anything to China. Right now. China is giving you a tit for tat.
Not only that, China owns a lot of debt, US debt. They'll start dumping in the market, and what will happen to that? So Trump knows. So he's trying to play hardball with India, and I think what the statement of Prime Minister was very categorical in that he's not going to budge on certain things. So if Trump is saying that I'm going to get a free pass of zero tariff in India, it's not going to happen, and he's not also going to get entry into certain areas which are a no-go for us.
See, it can't happen. So I was thinking about it also from a political perspective, right? That one, it's a political suicide for any party here. But even if it was the right thing, you spent 3 years talking to the UK for a free trade agreement, wherein for 3 years you've argued and said that, okay, these sectors are not open up. You will not, and you cannot, and you should not open up the sectors to somebody else in a matter of 3 weeks or 3 months, right? You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. So some things are non-negotiable. Is there a way around it? I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure both sides will say, okay, थोड़ा हमारा तेल खरीद लो, थोड़ा ये कर लो, थोड़ा वो कर लो.
तेल तो खरीद ही रहे हैं ना. मतलब अगर आप देखोगे अप्रैल to जून की जो डेटा है, India was importing nearly 8.5% of the total requirement. As compared to last year, it was around 2% or so. So we have already increased the.
Which is what I'm saying, that negotiations with so many defense companies, there's so much happening. I wonder, it's just
it's an old tactics of the US, and we have seen this in the past as well. Whenever we have done, the last time we saw this happening in a big way was the nuclear test we did, and at that time the sanctions were very harsh on India, from all point of view. The country came out of it actually, and came out better. That led to the emergence of the domestic defense sector. Let me put it this way. So if this is going to be something, it may lead to emergence of a new way of doing business of trade. Simple as that.
Maybe new trading blocks.
Trading blocks. What Anand Mahindra wrote in his tweet was right. I mean, in the sense, this is a time to look at ourselves, and and maybe states should come together as a block and put a single window clearance instead of multiple states having single window clearance. Those are the kind of stuff that needs to be revolutionized. Reboot. मतलब मंथन करके कुछ अमृत निकालो. That's what he was trying to say. So I think that is something. But
the small other thing. Sorry, I know we're getting out of a small other thing. Think of what this does to the conversations that will happen between these nations 25 years out, right? And the last 2 or 3 years, there's so much conversation around, oh, how is it that India is not raising its voice against Russia? Throughout the preceding, whatever, 20, 30 years, right? A very strong relationship, no kind of very strong up and downs in this relationship, right? Now, India is building this lovely relationship with the United States of America. For the Prime Minister of India, whoever she or he is, 25 years out, this incident by a sitting US president will shake the confidence again, right? It happened during the test, it happened during a conflict
Yes.
with Pakistan.
Pakistan.
It's now happened again out here. There is absolutely no reason for the sitting US president to do anything like this.
No, is there a reason to believe in the US being a friend of India? I don't. I think US looks at it as more of a transactional relationship rather than being.
But this is not even on the basis of transaction, Sajeet. That's my
transaction
point.
in the sense,
Yeah, but you're right. I get your point. Yeah.
Matlab, I will stand with you.
I'll stand for myself.
Myself first, and then I will stand with you. वो चलता नहीं है ना. मतलब जो अगर बोलते हैं ना कि अगर दोस्त के साथ झगड़ा हो रहा है तो पता तो जाके खड़े तो होंगे ना, वो भी नहीं होता इधर. Simple as that, right?
This has been shocking. Really.
And it's also come at a time when it's a bit surprising because we've seen a steady improvement in India-US relationship, and at that point, for something like this to happen, it really breaks trust, right? It breaks trust to say that Trump has been such a big supporter and such a big. He's voiced himself so loudly with regard to his arm around PM Modi, and now suddenly this coming as a bolt out of the blue,
and that's the reason,
and unnecessary as well. I don't think that they can afford to not rely on India and Indian companies. Because otherwise that just means that they'll have to find alternate supply chains, and that is not easy to do in a lot of businesses. In some businesses it's possible, but in a lot of businesses it's just not possible to find alternate supply chains at such short notice. So
it's a loss for us as well, right? But you want a good relationship with a strong nation somehow.
But then you need to find other markets. Simple as that. That's what it means actually. If it means that we need to de-risk ourselves from the US, we have to do that.
Yes.
But the point is, at this point in time, there will be a short-term pain for some of the companies and sectors which have high exposure to the US because of the kind of tariff. But in the long run, companies will learn that never have faith in the US or in the political leadership of the US, because it may move, because if decisions are made on rationality and data, then it's a separate thing. But if decisions are not made on rationality and data, then this it's nothing. I mean, you cannot believe have faith in that system. Simple as that. For a longest period of time, people used to say about India, but today we make decisions based on data, based on policies which are uniform across for everyone. I don't think I saw two interactions of the Trump where the reporter was asking Trump about other countries taking crude and other stuff, including the United States, which imports uranium from Russia, and he says, "I don't know about it." How can that be the case, right? In the sense, you are importing from Russia, but that's okay because that's my need. But someone else is importing energy, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's that's something which doesn't go well, and I think the Prime Minister is right in taking a stand, saying that even if it comes at the cost of my personal relationship, I'm going to take the stand because this is something which is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But markets, we saw markets
react in a very mature fashion.
Yeah, but I saw some bit of fall after the Prime Minister's statement. Actually, it means in the morning it was we yesterday evening we were looking at 150 points fall, but today it wasn't that much of fall in the morning. But after the PM statement, I think the markets have. So towards the afternoon, we may see some kind of weakness, which is again coming in. And today is a weekly Nifty options expiry, so there will be some volatility for sure in that sense. But what are the counters standing out? Trend is something which is standing out for you today?
Yeah, I mean,
Bajaj Auto, Trend, Hero Honda.
Hero is really standing out on a day like this. Numbers weren't the best. Top line was a miss. Exports helped the numbers in a certain fashion, insulated the margins to a certain extent, ensured that profits and the bottom line wasn't impacted because of that top line miss of around 4-5%, a little more than 5%. So yeah, I mean, Hero for me stands out.
But Hero and Bajaj are facing this domestic headwind in a very big way. Means exports are the only one which is a saving grace for both of them. But domestic market, they're not able to get that ground running. Means
So do you see, sorry, wider question. Do you see a concern with regard to domestic? I mean, we are seeing this across multiple sectors that domestic is just not performing. Let's talk about FMCG. There's no performance there, right? Volumes just, companies just aren't able to carry volumes. Pricing also not exactly the best. The pass through of inflation has not fully happened. Uh, Unilever taking a knock on margins and saying that we'll do 22, 23 instead of 23, 24. I mean, it could just be a percent here or there, but for a Unilever the size that it is, it makes a difference. And therefore, would you believe that domestic is struggling or no?
No. I think in case of FMCG, the pie is being eaten by a lot of unlisted but large regional players as well. And therefore that market is changing, right?
But do you think that the entire market pool, whether it's listed or unlisted,
we don't have data on that, but I would presume
is
that
it
is
expanding?
Okay, because there have been green shoots by companies as well, right? Marico was very decent commentary,
Yes,
right, and decent performance as well.
But Marico also brought down his guidance.
Yeah, but from whatever little Mahima told me, it is not something alarming. I think whatever they posted and whatever they mentioned, at least from whatever I recollect, you may know this better, but I thought there were select companies which did okay as well. And mostly, I mean, my buying pattern, I'm telling you, is simple. I mean, I'm doing this because there are some really good brands, very cool marketing happening across a swath of FMCG products, right? From a toothpaste to whatever else, right? And people are going out and buying those.
True, but Niraj, your SEC level or the socio-economic level
may
not be the same as people who are
Sajeet,
much
in fact,
below.
I'm saying for everything. Toothpaste, to aap kharid rahe ho, main kharid raha hu. Simple, right? And if I'm getting a really good deal somewhere else, which is not necessarily, I mean, for lack of a better word, a close-up or a Colgate, but something else, people are buying that. So I'm just saying that, I mean, that's ubiquitous. I mean, somebody who is kind enough to drive my car for me is buying a 100 rupee toothpaste. I'm buying a 100 rupee toothpaste. So, the same hai. I'm just using that as an example, right? So, out of FMCG, mein to mujhe nahi lagta. At least the data is not 100% sure because there is mixed commentary from companies and that piece is getting led. But to the broader question, are we seeing a concerted rebound in the economy on the domestic side? Clearly, we are not.
And we expected that towards the end of first quarter, we should be seeing some
kind of constructive.
Yeah.
I wonder if I have to eat my words.
But you still have the target of 2026 Diwali.
No,
right?
so we were discussing yesterday. I don't know, yesterday, before yesterday. That is possibly the all of the front loading done by the government and the RBI may actually land up making an impact a few months down the line, and maybe the impact will not be as quick as one would have earlier anticipated.
Yeah, and by the way, just one small thing on that. So sorry, wedging in a macro in between here, but there is a very, very high probability, right, that there could be now both the government and the Reserve Bank of India working over time to try and do more. So the government, for example, may give a pause to the fiscal consolidation path because it needs to support some of the industries which will get hit because of these tariffs.
No, but government has already given a fiscal relaxation in form of tax outgo, right? Nearly 1 lakh crores.
Consumer ko ho gaya,
Consumer ko ho gaya.
Yeah, gems and jewelry, which is a very high employment sector, usko support to dena padega na. Those industries otherwise get hit really badly. So I think the government may well do it. All I'm saying is the government may well do it. I don't know whether they'll do it or who knows, right? But they might do that. The RBI may further ease because the inflation numbers will be on RBI's side. So temporary period, let's say 6 months ke liye, we're easing down the interest rates by another 25 basis points. We'll raise it after 9 months.
Surprisingly, yesterday's RBI policy, people are talking about that it's like a hawkish pause. I thought they had a neutral stance and they are saying, okay, we will still watch. But I saw multiple commentaries saying that, okay, it's more of an hawkish pause. We are no longer seeing any more rate cuts going forward because the projection for March and June inflation is 4.5% odd, which is there. So there is no room left for an rate cut.
There are people who message that the RBI data room needs a revamp. They need better math, people. Who knows? I mean,
I know who said that. So that's one thing. And when we're talking about Bajaj and Hero, the lower end of the pyramid where the lower models are coming in, they're not able to sell that into the market. And despite the fact that rural is picking up, so either the consumption pattern of rural has gone up so much that people are now not looking at the base model, they're looking at the premium model.
Really?
नहीं सर वो तो
Really?
यार
I don't
मुश्किल
know. I
लग
don't
रहा है,
I'm
मुश्किल
just
लग
saying,
रहा है।
see, last 3 quarters से हम ये देख रहे हैं ना, rural तो अपटिक है ही.
और कोई जवाब है आपके
हाँ,
पास?
जवाब है उसके बाद. मतलब और कोई मुझे दिखता नहीं है.
See, we know that
Aisha,
any Indian
आपका Aisha बिक
is
रहा है.
mileage conscious.
Yeah,
no.
price sensitive.
So then what Sajeet is saying is right. Now,
No.
why is it that it is not happening?
हाँ,
प्रीमियम
because-
नहीं लेना है,
अरे,
मैं
पर
बेसिक
Aisha-
वाला पहले लूंगा।
No, but Aisha और TVS बिक रहा है, पर बजाज और हीरो होंडा नहीं बिक रहा है.
क्यों ऐसे?
क्यों नहीं बिक रहा है?
Because that cohort of the population is doing okay. The lower cohort isn't. That is the unfortunate reality.
But lower cohort is getting a rural income uptick which is coming in there, right? That's what we are saying. The last 3 quarters is coming.
Is that big enough
It's
to
coming
them
in, it's
buy a
coming.
bike?
Yeah, so that's
Or
what
is it good enough to buy
and
basic
they are saying it's
necessities?
coming in, पर visible नहीं है ना numbers में, fully translate नहीं हो रहा है numbers में. That is the reality of it.
और बजाज और हीरो में
Premium
तो
में
transfer
अभी
नहीं
भी
हो रहा है.
अच्छा
पर
अच्छा नंबर आ
टीवीएस
रहा
और
है.
आइशर में हो रहा है. टीवीएस और आइशर में हो रहा है. मारुति के लोअर एंड में नहीं हो रहा है, पर हायर एंड कार्स में हो रहा
हो
है.
रहा है.
So वो जो is there a transition that is happening within the cohort of rural consumers who are looking and saying that okay, I don't want to.
Tough to believe, no sir, that it's not like GDP per capita has suddenly just gone out of whack, right? We've been pretty steady where GDP per capita
True,
is.
but
So
and we are saying the consumption is okay, but it's not reflecting in the numbers. वो भी तो है.
Yeah, so I mean, it's, I don't know, it's not making sense to me.
हाँ. And
that
when you say
all of a
consumption,
sudden,
and suddenly the banking finance guys should, as you should be telling us
yes,
that कि ठीक है consumption हो रहा है क्योंकि बैंक डिस्पर्स कर रहे हैं, लोन्स बढ़ रहे हैं, पर तुम वो भी नहीं बोल रहे कि वो हो रहा है उतना.
नहीं वो, yeah, so corporate में नहीं हो रहा है. And Ashwini Kumar Tiwari came in yesterday and said that 2-3 reasons why equity markets are buoyant. So people are getting funding from there. There is a better channel in terms of debt, which people are able to raise money
Private credit.
with more ease. There's more ease with regard to raising debt as well versus coming to the bank. So there are alternative channels. But he said that, does that mean that capex is not happening? He doesn't agree. So that's what he had said yesterday. He said capex तो हो रहा है, right? Is it the strength of capex is the question. अभी जो expectation है versus क्या हो रहा है वो शायद से अलग हो, but capex तो हो रहा है.
We are almost towards the end of the first quarter earnings, right? And we said that towards the November कि अरे क्या क्या इतना order book बढ़ रहा है, इतना tenders आ रहे हैं, tendering हो रही है, people capex is expected to pick up. In the Q1 commentary that you've spoken to, and you've spoken to many of the capex guys, ABB and others, and आज भारत फोर्ज से भी बात की तुमने. Do you get the feeling that the capex is picking up? No, right? No. And why is that? It means
economic uncertainty. Sajeet, and by the way, we need to start taking questions, but put yourself in the shoes of, let's say, Amit Kalyani. Ask yourself, do you have the economic confidence around you to commit large capital? You don't. It is just so uncertain.
There is global uncertainty. India business itself is not picking up.
It's like driving in a rainforest without your headlamps. It is damn difficult.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's damn difficult.
It's not worth
even though there is a domestic resurgence which is there.
यार रिसर्जेंस है, पर वो सिलेक्ट पॉकेट्स में है जहां पे, और या फिर जहां पे गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट पता है आपको है, जैसे कि एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन, वहां पे कैपेक्स हो रहा है और बाकी नहीं है. But I mean, you need an economic build out. In fact, just keep in mind, almost everybody is saying that the global economy goes through a slowdown in the second half. US, China, everything. This capex number will only get worse. It cannot get better now.
So then, what we were talking about, and I was saying that we are looking at an earnings growth of 5% for FY23.
And I was saying कि
8 to 10 होगा, तो वो 8 to 10 नहीं होने वाला अगर ऐसे है तो.
पता नहीं है.
And if there's a slowdown in H2, that's only going to create more headwinds for us domestically as well. It's not like rural income will see a lift if global
consumption नहीं होगा तो कहाँ से होगा lift? Simple as that.
वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ. I'm saying nor is domestic driving, nor is are we seeing the lever from
Then,
global coming in?
Then what Sridhar was talking about, that the inflation is going to come down further. It's going to come down further because consumption will be lower and high supply will be in the market. So you'll have to, and if that is the case, then suddenly you'll have the rate cycle reversal which may come in to curb.
Reversal.
हो सकता है.
No, you're saying prices will go down, right? So the rate cuts will happen.
हाँ, पर प्राइसेस नीचे जाएंगे
हाँ.
और आगे जाके पॉज तो होने वाला है. आरबीआई ने, सब लोग तो बोल रहे कि वो है. हम तो
रिवर्सल कैसे होगा?
नहीं, बट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से दैट कि मार्च जून में अगर इन्फ्लेशन हाई होने वाला है एंड देयर इज नो गोइंग टू बी एनी,
हाँ, बट रिवर्सल कैसे होगा?
रिवर्सल नहीं होगा, बट आई एम सेइंग अ लॉन्गर पॉज हो सकता है, जो भी होगा.
हाँ, बट रिवर्सल कैसे?
रिवर्सल नहीं
होगा. I'm trying to behave like that.
Yes.
Antagonizing, irritating anchor.
नहीं, तुम अभी मिस्टर एजी की जैसे बात कर रहे हो.
Okay, Anupam Ahuja is saying, have to say, not only is the show beautiful, but the comments and questions here are also superb. So appreciation for all the people who tune in for the show as well. Thank you so much.
And he's wishing us only a 50% good afternoon.
Acha.
The balance 50%. Anupam, I'm hoping it was a good morning. So and Crazy Crux is saying 100% tariff unless show producers get another cup of coffee. Frankly,
coffee prices are coming down.
Crazy Crux, while I know you are saying this out of humor, does it matter? 50 या 100 बिकने तो वाला है नहीं.
पॉइंट वही है.
50 जगह टैरिफ के साथ वायबल तो है नहीं बेचना यूएस में. क्या
100 कर दो.
यार हम कॉफी पे पैसे बचा लेंगे.
Because I mean 25% हो गया, you kind of kill the equation. बाद में उसका 200 हो जाए तो भी क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
It's like China saying, तुम में से 150 डाल दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, मैं तो बेच ही नहीं रहा. अब भेजूंगा नहीं तो तुम अपना नीचे करोगे.
Niraj sir, someone is asking you. Sorry, Warren Buffett is asking you.
Online.
Where did you get those socks?
I'm telling you, this is not.
He has your eyes on your socks actually.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only color I use in my day-to-day life, right? So, यहाँ पे भी है थोड़ा पैसा.
हाँ, नहीं आज छुप जाता है. आज टाई पहनी इसलिए नहीं पहनी क्योंकि ये कलर दिखाना.
I love this subtle changes of color in my life. I can't do it on a tie.
Yeah.
So I wear it in socks.
So there is a appreciation coming from Sadanand Sinha. Kudos to the NDTV Profit for great coverage yesterday evening on tariff by Tamanna ma'am, Niraj. Sajeet sir, any news on BSE weekly expiry and JSW cement IPO as compared to other cement stocks? Okay. So
you spoke to JSW cement,
yes,
right?
Path. I spoke to Path. They are sitting on a capacity of 20 million tons, utilization around 60%. 12 million ton कुछ आता है उनका. They plan to double in next 3 to 4 years their entire capacity. They're looking at cement revival, which is happening, and now they're going into northern. They are in south, west, and east. They're now looking at the northern markets, and with the capacity expansion, they will go to the northern markets. That's what Parth was telling us. It means that कभी तो 25 FY25 के numbers तो loss making है, but the revival in cement which has happened in the last quarter or so, prices have gone up by nearly 8% or 9%, and volumes have also coming up. It means that they will have much better cash flows going forward. On a valuation front, it seems little expensive as compared to an Ultratech and an Ambuja, but if you're going to look for the growth which is there, I think at par, I mean, EV by EBITDA of FY26 is around 18.5, 19 times. FY27 का 17.5 कुछ है उनका वो, and it's almost that EV by EBITDA is at par with some of the leading players. So at best you can say it is there. 1,000-1,200 crores का EBITDA करेंगे FY26 में. So you're going to see some kind of there's a potential jump which is there. The pricing is something which is okay. I thought.
We need to rapid fire.
Yeah.
40 हो गया.
BSE का आप बताओ.
आप बताओ.
BSE में I think eventually there will be a long dated contract that will come in because the regulator wants it. Does it mean that BSE is going to get impacted? Yes, BSE is maybe getting impacted because a lot of volumes come from Nifty. BSE sensex options which comes in, which is a weekly option, which is there. NSE को भी impact होगा अगर ऐसा आता है, but I think both the exchanges are unison in one thing, that they want the weekly options to be there. Okay. So I don't know whether it's going to happen quickly or not.
Cool. Now, before we get to KYC on Aeroflex ka suggestion, and by the way, Hersh, it's a suggestion. Maybe you can get Aeroflex Industries. There's an IPO that was well
Noted.
subscribed, right?
Noted.
I'm going reverse way. CSE Bulls is saying, okay, Niraj sir, just dial at 7,000 crore market cap, 5,500 crore cash, 350 crore operating profit, and 1,500 crore market cap. Is this a way of looking a company fine? Yes, a lot of companies you can look at them that way, but some of these companies, and there are other examples beyond just dial, wherein because growth has been amiss, ये सब numbers बहुत अच्छे हैं लेकिन stock में returns नहीं बन रहा है. So just be mindful of that.
And they're sending a lot of cash, na? Then
Yeah.
they should be distributing the cash.
Yes, ideally either do that or show a venue के नहीं भाई चलो आप कर सकते हो. You can invest in growth. That's not happening. So there are other companies like that. But is this a way of looking at a company for figuring out the downside? Yes, but upside कितना आएगा पता नहीं है. So that's the problem there. Okay, team, appreciate your perspective on such tricky days. Good time to buy Nifty ETF. 50% now and 50% on plus minus 5% movement. I think yes. I think मेरे हिसाब से now we're reaching a point wherein long short ratio ये वो सब मिला के we are reaching a point wherein a whiff of good news could actually make the markets.
No, I agree with you that one should look at the ETF and not any stocks at this point in time because of the kind of volatility which is there in the market. The question is whether you should look at Nifty ETF, whether you should Nifty or mid cap, small cap ETF, or Nifty next 50 ETF.
चलो वो जो भी आप choose कर लो
यार. Sajeet sir बोल रहे हैं next 50 कर लो.
I think that's a much better growth.
Yeah, but yeah, good time to look at markets. अच्छा, Anupam Ahuja on REC, Hersh.
Yeah, I mean
6% dividend yield.
Maybe 1 year forward, etc. But yeah, I mean stock definitely looks good. We've had a slew of brokerage notes which have come out and which are talking positively on the counter. Frankly, I think this 10 versus 15% growth is being overdone. In my very humble opinion. At 15% growth, you are valuing this at 1.7 times, and at 10%, you're suddenly saying that just 1.1 times. I don't entirely buy that argument. I feel that a 10-12% growth for an REC PFC is something you can reasonably expect, just about double digit. And if you're okay with that and buying maybe at 1.1 times book, which is broadly what it is at 1 or 2 years forward, it looks okay, I think.
There's a question on Birla Soft, Niraj. The stock is down from 430 to 381. How do you look at its earnings?
Don't know. I haven't checked it, honestly.
I think earnings आए नहीं ना, आने वाले हैं इसके. But on the tech issue, and I was discussing this with Hersh as well yesterday. We're starting hearing now that the big US banks are now facing an issue with respect to orders or deals which are not coming their way because of the tariff issue, especially non-US deals. They're now going more to the regional banks rather than going to the US banks. And then you have an adverse Trump who's against the JP Morgan, the Bank of America, and all those companies, US banks, because he thinks that these guys are, pro-democratic and not, and they are, biased against Trump and its supporters. And then he's looking at a penalty and all. Do you think that will have a bearing on the kind of impact that Indian IT will have, because many of them have a bigger BFSI, exposure to the US market, especially to the big banks there?
What do you think?
I think there would be some kind of they're hit by discretionary. Now the question is whether this fall in deals and other stuff or the revenues for them, will that lead to a drastic cut in spends for them? That's the question which I know I'm asking, and maybe increase the speed of the GCCs, and that would be a hit for many of the IT companies in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, likely important. I mean, I don't have a view on this firmly, Sajeet, to be very honest. Sorry.
But it looks like the chatter which is now increasing on this is something which is looks little scary for some of the Indian IT companies which have high exposure to the BFSI in the US.
Let's see how this unravels.
We have
to wrap in a
minute.
Look at seasonality for August. Last 10-year trend, August seasonality.
July has shown that don't look at seasonality.
That is true.
Right. I remember.
Or July has shown that Trump doesn't give a damn about seasonality.
Yeah, because it was up 0.96% for last average of last 10 years,
Hmm.
and we're already down 1.36%.
So 0.9% is nothing, right? 1% move can happen here or there. So it doesn't make a difference.
No very big moves there.
I'm telling you, this will get resolved. All of this will get resolved. August 28th, we will talk.
India has already
divine
started.
intervention.
I would feel so.
India has already
No,
started.
I'm not. I'm saying only because of Ganesh Chaturthi.
Acha.
Something happens.
Okay.
Something will
India
happen.
has already started pausing some of the US military contracts. By the way. The P8 8I orders, which is worth around $3.6 billion. It seems that the Indian Navy has paused it, and it was supposed to go to a US company to the US.
I don't know.
There is a serious diplomatic breakdown which is there, and there's a fight which is happening. Who's going to stand the ground? And in one way, it's a test of the Indian diplomacy as well, saying that let's see whether we are able to hold it or not.
Yeah,
but it's a very different India from 25 years ago.
Of course, as it should be, and which is why
we stood firm at that point.
This
in time.
India will give Boris people like armchair commentators like Boris Johnson a slap on their face when they comment on India.
Yeah.
So this should happen for sure.
Perfect. Last question is on Capri Global. Posting good results every quarter. NPS under control. Price to book at 3.5. Question is Bajaj Finance or Capri, which looks better? You're comparing Shah Rukh Khan with a new rookie who's just made his first movie, and Shah Rukh Khan being Bajaj Finance, of course. So I don't think it's much of a comparable.
There's another Shah Rukh Khan coming,
and
the Salman Khan is also coming. Actually, the Tata Capital IPO. It's coming by the end of the month.
There you go. Salman's coming. So with Shah Rukh and Salman, obviously that new rookie is going to face some bit of pressure. So.
The movie calendar looks very good for the next 3-4 months. So some very stunning Bollywood movies coming out.
Yeah, I think Shah Rukh की भी एक movie आ रही है.
Shah Rukh है, Ranbir की 2 है, Hrithik की 1 है. Hrithik movies. In case you guys want to go to the theaters, I don't. But if you guys want to, Sajeet loves going to the theaters. So.
Yeah, I do. But I only go for a Shah Rukh movie.
अच्छा, okay.
Or a Salman movie. बहुत दिमाग नहीं यूज करना पड़ता.
I don't think Shah Rukh will like that comment too much, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he's praising Shah Rukh and Salman, and then suddenly he just brought them down straight out. Was a tough one.
वहाँ पर तो wallet यूज करना पड़ता है, दिमाग नहीं यूज करना पड़ता.
Okay, चलो, let's call it a day. Thank you guys.
Chalo,
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.